Howdy, Brazos Valley. Welcome to the latest real estate market update, your go to source for the latest trends and stats in the Bryan College Station housing market and beyond. I'm Hayden Riley, a licensed broker associate with Inhabit Real Estate Group. And whether you're buying, selling, or just keeping an eye on the market, I've got you covered. Today, we'll dive into the numbers from last month, straight from the Bryan College Station MLS, the Texas Association of Realtors, and the Texas Real Estate Center. From sales volume to median home prices, we'll break it all down to help you make an informed decision based on this dynamic market. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe a pen and a paper, and let's see how this market's shaping up. Trust me, there are some interesting trends you won't want to miss. You ready? Let's jump in.
All right, y'all, we are in August of 2025. So we'll start with the average days on market, looking at July's numbers. We're looking at the orange line for 2025 at 113 average days on market. So we went up 7 from June, which is fairly normal. We typically will ramp back up towards the fall months. This has kind of the opposite trend of what we see of units sold. So as we sell more, houses don't sit on the houses or properties don't stay on the market as long, and then when we sell less, they stay on longer. So that's why that is. Next, we'll take a look at the units sold. So as we look at that, again, looking at the orange line, 360 compared to 427 the previous month. So we're going down. So the opposite of what we saw on the previous slide. And although 360, it's a pretty significant difference between the months. Let's hold that number in our head, because the previous month we were still netting more properties coming onto the market. Let's take a look now and see if we're still doing that. So our new listings taken number at 363. So just barely, but yes, we are. We netted 3 new listings. Now, definitely many fewer new listings came on the market in July than in June, but we're still adding inventory. And what that means is there's more for buyers to choose from, which means that they can negotiate more on price. So next, we'll take a look at just the Bryan College Station area, because that seems to be a pretty good indicator for the rest of the area. Median price point at $339,990, which is up 4.8% compared to last year. Active listings up 19%. Days on market 108, so a little bit less, a little bit fewer than for the entire area, that previous chart that we saw. The price distribution, it looks like the lion's share is between $200,000 and $400,000. Nothing new there. What's interesting to me is the fact that they are neck and neck, whereas typically one is significantly higher than the other, although there's a number 1 and a number 2 in those categories. It just means that there are more properties, generally speaking, that are staying on the market. Closed sales are up 5.2%. Our months of inventory, 4.8. Now, let's take a look at this number. First of all, just a quick definition. It just means that if we had the same number of sales that we had in July, and we repeated that over and over again without adding any new inventory, how many months would it take us to deplete our inventory completely? And the answer would be 4.8 months. For Brazos County, that number is 4.9 months. And typically, if you're if you're under 6 months, it's an indicator that you're in a seller's market. But Brazos County and Bryan College Station, respectively, are the only areas in the general area that are below 6 months. So Burleson County, Grimes County, Robertson County, Washington County, all of them, their months of inventory are at or above 6 months. So just something to keep in mind. But we do tend to, in Bryan College Station, we do tend to be protected by our little economic bubble here called Texas A&M. So we'll see though if we go up as well. But for now, things seem to be pointed towards us being still, relatively speaking, a seller's market, at least when you look at this indicator. Now, we'll take a look at the market activity for last week. Now, this is where we look at the number of active listings that went under contract as a percentage of those active listings, anyway, that went under contract. And that means, so 78 properties went under contract last week, and there were 1,651 active listings. So 4.7% of our market went under contract. Still fairly active, but as you can see from the chart, lower than what we've seen in previous years. And as you can imagine, we'll just continue to keep our eyes open on that.
And that's a wrap on this month's Brazos Valley real estate market update. Thanks so much for tuning in and staying informed about our ever-evolving market. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Your support helps us reach more people just like you who want to stay on top of the real estate trends that matter. As always, if you're looking to buy, sell, or have any questions about the real estate market, I'm just a call or message away. Until next time, stay tuned, stay informed, and take care, Brazos Valley. I'll see you in the next update.